my dog is deaf. How do I train her because she doesn't know anything? Oh, yay. Okay. Having a handicapped dog is so difficult, and I commend you, Tiny Tim the donkey, on your efforts for adopting a deaf dog. This is incredible. So, when we're training normally, and I know all of you guys use this, right? Because we're all using the Dogo app. So we use what's called a reinforcer, right? And that reinforcer is usually a verbal cue or a click, right? So maybe some of us are clicker training. A lot of us are using yes or good boy, good dog, right? So if you have a deaf dog, what do, right? The easiest thing to do is to create a visual cue. So your visual cue for a job well done might be thumbs up. This can now take the place of your marker. So what it would look like when you're training your dog, train with food, right? So let's say we're working on the sit cue. I'm going to take that treat up to my dog's nose, keep it pinned here. A lot of times with sit, and this is just a general tip for everybody, a lot of times I see we get really far away with the treat. We're like, way over here, and we're trying to tip our dog's head back, right, like this. If my treat is this far away from my dog and I'm tipping their head back to try to get into a sit, all I'm going to do is make my dog stand up to come to the food. That's a problem. So if you're working on any sort of cue, keep that food pinned to their nose. It's very important. So in this dog's case, we're going to take the treat up to their nose, up and over their head, keeping that treat pinned, right? You can almost even push into their body, because if they start to get up and out and move, you just push back with your hand, right? You can control them with that food. So take it up and over their head. The minute their butt hits the ground, I want you to thumbs up and then release the food. Run that again, right? Up and over the head, their butt hits the ground. I want you to thumbs up and then release the food. So what we're doing is we're actually replacing the yes or the good boy or the click for this hand signal here, right? Because with deaf dogs, using any sort of auditory cue will not be useful to them. Use that enough. The other thing that you can do is I really want you to train in this thumbs up to equaling a food reward. So very simply, you can show them a thumbs up, give them a snack. Show them a thumbs up, give them a snack. Show them a thumbs up, give them a snack. That is going to teach your dog that this signal means food reward is coming, right? When I see this, I get a treat. And then the other thing is, when you're doing your training, stick to hand signals. Here's the awesome thing about our dogs. They're all visual communicators. So if you have a deaf dog, you're already kind of ahead of the game, because your dog naturally is going to communicate with their body language. Dogs have very little verbal language. They have some growls and some barks, but most of what they do is body language. They'll show their teeth. They yawn, they sneeze, they'll turn away, they'll turn around, they sniff butts, right? So everything that our dogs are doing to communicate is actually visual. They have very little verbal communication. So when we're working with a deaf dog, we just have to remember, get visual with it. So come up with hand signals for your different cues. Most of them already have hand signals. So for sit, it's usually flat palm up. For down, it's flat palm down. For touch, it's touch. For high five, it's high five. For paw, you can come up with this. You can do this for the other side, right? So just come up with hand signals for each cue that you teach your dog, using your thumbs up to mean, yes, you've done exactly what I'm looking for, and here comes your food reward. So really what it's going to come down to is your timing and just making sure that your dog understands that this means they did what you're asking them to do and that they're going to get a food reward for it. So just use the thumbs up, or you can use wavy hand, whatever you'd like, but use some sort of visual cue. You could touch your nose. You can get really creative with it. There's really no rules or standardization for training a deaf dog. So your correction, or like your marker is what we officially call it, can be whatever you like it to be. Thumbs up is usually pretty easy. It's what I've used with a lot of my deaf dogs clients, but tapping your nose is another popular one, and happy wavy hand is another popular one. So whichever one is going to work best for you. And just remember, keep it positive, and thumbs up, food reward, so that they know when they see this, it means they've just earned a treat. What a great question. Okay,